Yeah.
Well, we need to order. Will the second, will you call roll call, please?
Absolutely.
Commissioner Sheridan Collin,
Here.
Commissioner Byron,
Here.
Commissioner Mamonakis,
Here.
Commissioner De Leon Guerrero is absent with notice.
Okay, so we do have a quorum. So we'll need to approve the agenda. Are there any corrections? There's usually not much happening.
It says review of
except-
town master plan, that's not.
That's old business.
He just asked anytime we didn't have anything
Oh, right,
to
Yeah.
put that on there.
but are we gonna, in old business, are we gonna add this land swap?
I
No,
asked
in all business-
Chair if she would like to add it, this would be this one.
This would be the time right now. So yes, I'd like to add to the agenda. A conversation between the town board and the charter school. For a land swap,
Planning commission.
and the planning commission. And the Crestone Charter School. For a conversation on a potential land swap.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda as amended. Second.
Okay, everyone in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, and then we need to approve the minutes, and that would be from last,
I don't have any minutes for you this time, I'll have them the next meeting.
okay? Okay, so we cannot approve the minutes. Are there any citizens' comments? Okay, are there any reports?
Nope.
Okay, the next order of business is new business. Is there new business? Nope, okay, is there any old business that we need to finish?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so let's have a discussion on that.
So what's changed, what's going on? Do you guys wanna give a report on what's happening?
Well, we've been traveling a little bit, anyway, Kim Bailey here. Just, we've been talking, with our group about who wants to do the community center. About possibly doing a land swap with the charter school, that, if I got it correct. Land was donated, to the town, tract one, and donated to the west, to the school. And the talk about is swapping those, hopefully size to size. And so that's pretty much what we're talking about, so we're looking for a place to do a community center. This is certainly an option, it's close into town, I mean, there's a whole lot of other factors involved. But that's really what we're here for, is to talk about if we can complete the land swap. But there's a lot of issues with this. Tom's here as a commissioner, I have not met you officially, but thank you for being here. How do we possibly do that? So that's pretty much what we're here for.
So just to clarify, the land that's tract one is already been annexed into town, the charter school's land, I think is called tract two. That's also been annexed into town, but everything to the west, this 25-acre tract is still under county jurisdiction. Although there's enough of a border for it to be annexed into town, but then, you know, there's concern that if it stays in county, it can't be subdivided. Obviously, the town, if it's in town, if the town swapped it, we would annex it into town because it's the only way we could, you know, apply our zoning regulations and everything onto that. But I know you guys have like a moratorium with any kind of subdivisions right now in county land, or I don't know how that's.
So my understanding is that are the two parcels the same size? Tract one and tract two?
8 and some acres and 25 some acres.
It's more like 10. on track one.
Okay, yes, but they're different.
But there are two pieces of land right below the school that are about equal,
Nobody
track
has
one and
them.
track two.
Yeah, those are equal.
Those are equal, because I don't think we're talking about the other acreage.
My understanding was that the 25 acre, whatever connects to the kiosk
Yeah,
is not part of this equation.
No, I don't think it is.
no, it is.
It is, well, parts of it, yeah.
That's the land in question.
Okay, well, I'm totally confused then.
Okay. Yeah,
So am I.
Yeah.
Me too.
Okay, so there's land that
I've been
connects
talking
to the
about this
kiosk.
now for 5 years. just-
There's 25 acres that was donated to Gayatri to the charter school. That's the one that borders the kiosk as well. Tom has been working hard on a kiosk project that, you know, has plans, or I don't know how far you are on that. How far are you on the kiosk project?
We just got to the point where we gave the charter school a Mylar to sign that basically deeds from the front of the kiosk building back to the fence. And so that's not part of the grand division necessarily. The grand division would be a whole nother piece of ground that would be behind the fence.
So there's just like a little
East
section.
of the fence, so there's just a little strip, that's where we're at right now, and we still haven't got that completely done, but it's this close to being done.
It's on, I'm like,
Just what it's talking about.
Well, hey,
We can start talking about it.
maybe you can clarify, so my understanding was that there was two parcels of ground, one of which was right next to the charter school land that the town owned, but I didn't know you annexed that into town yet. Then there was another tract that was approximately the same size to the west of that the town owned, and then it went back to charter school land again on the other side of that.
Correct, so the original Filio property was about 20 acres, it was split into two 8 acre parcels with a right of way in between, or an easement in between. For the remaining 3.5 acres or so. That was all negotiated during the time or leading up to the building of the school. And my understanding is the trade was made that the property be divided into a town parcel and a charter school parcel in exchange for the road and utilities connecting Hemlock to Alder with Lime Avenue. I don't know if there was some version of Lime Avenue in there or no utilities or whatever, but something along those lines, utilities traded for land. After that transaction was completed, then the 24 acres that is an L shape behind the kiosk was gifted to the charter school. So that left track one in between the current charter school property and the land behind the kiosk.
Which is still in county jurisdiction.
Correct. The Filio property was annexed and the 24 acres is this L shape. So this is the current orientation.
Yeah.
You guys with me to the north, or the mountains are that way. Charter school is right here. This is track one. And then this is the L with the kiosk down here in the corner.
Commercial town, so you.
It just borders the kiosk, it's not. So there's not a separate piece of ground.
Yeah.
The school building is here, this is the town track one, this is the kiosk right there.
Okay.
So.
But then there's like a little piece of like talking about it creates like.
There was a line across here that would
Start at.
delineate this parcel and this parcel as two separate parcels from this to this. But you're saying this is right now all one parcel.
There are some fences in there, but these are the corners roughly pulled off of the
And
Parcel viewer.
none of this has been annexed into town.
correct.
Okay. So
I don't know about the
This-
private land where the llama is.
So you see how this and this
I
are.
don't know about that, I think that's outside of town.
Oh, these ones, yeah, those are outside of town as well.
Oh,
And
we
they're-
talked about the swap it was really not this,
No,
it was just these two, right?
So this is at least the third iteration of land swap. And there has been a multitude of proposals, including charter school taking everything on the uphill and town getting the land behind the kiosk and putting in a sewer, you know, all kinds of things.
is that still on?
I think there is the corners are the details that need to get worked out, right? And is it the corners on the low end and upper end, or is it the front, you know, sort of the Lime Avenue frontage versus the back property? In my mind, I think there are several common targets that both the town and the charter school are focused on. And I think looking at how those were defined in the past, potentially redefining them based on modern needs. But I think a lot of it comes down to contiguous property, both for the town and for the charter school, access to utilities and potential future expansion of utilities. And serving the community. I think we can agree on all three of those aspects. Perhaps higher priority here or there, depending on our different perspectives, but
So one of the issues that we're gonna come across is jurisdiction, because if there can't be, unless the county allows for subdivisions, there's no way that you can swap, you know, like take that 25 acres and break it into pieces and figure out who gets what. It's gonna have to be subdivided in the county land. And then if the town did trade, then the town's gonna obviously wanna annex its properties, and depending on the other properties, they might wanna annex as well. I mean, maybe not, maybe they wanna keep it in the county, so either way, there's gonna have to be some kind of subdivision and some kind of annexation. And so what we told them the last time we met here was that we think that this 25 acres, in order for anything to really happen, it should be annexed before we even decide on any kind of land swap, because that way, you know, the subdivision happens in-house per se, as opposed to, you know, having to go to the county and fight for how you're gonna subdivide.
If I might speak up for just a moment, Tom, you're here, is there any exceptions to the moratorium on subdivision in the county?
No, not at the moment, but we should be through with our moratorium before too long. Our planning commission's been working on the regulations, and once they're finalized and approved by the commissioners, we'll lift the moratorium.
Any concept of timing on that, if I'm.
In the next 3 to 6 months.
3 to 6 months?
Yeah.
Oh, fairly soon then.
And
Well,
what
the
is,
moratorium was only for a year, and I think we've got 6 months left on it or something.
Okay, so would this be something, if I may speak about this, would this be something that the county would be interested in taking this piece of property that's in the town, giving that to the charter school, and then having the equal size over here that comes into the town? Which would be subdividing a portion of this 25 acres.
and then,
Kind of liking what Ben suggested, and I don't know how the charter school feels about it, but if this were all annexed into the town, then the town could help with the kiosk project.
Well, yeah.
I mean, the town, yeah, it wouldn't be, just because it's annexed into town doesn't mean it's owned by the town. It just means that it, you
Well, I
know,
understand
yeah.
that,
So,
yeah,
yeah, but I mean, as far as helping, I mean, I think that the land that you guys want for the kiosk project would have to be subdivided off as well of this. So there's gonna have to be some, like I'm saying, I'm gonna keep coming back to it, there's gonna have to be a subdivision no matter what. It's just whether it goes through the county subdivision or the town subdivision.
right, so if the town owned that property, I mean, not owned it, but if it was annexed into the town. then you could decide how you wanted to deal with it.
Exactly.
Well, is that in agreement? Are you in agreement with that?
There are people with a lot more real estate experience than I. I'm running a school and I think we would probably hand that over to the real estate lawyers on what is the best pathway forward. There will need to be a legal agreement in terms of that. And I don't know if it's easier to bring it into the town. I don't know if the guy with who owns the llama lot, their name for that person. Anyway, that property where the llamas are, it would end up being surrounded, so I assume that would, so, yeah, there is a process there. Again, I think the ultimate goal is what's going to serve our community the best, both the charter school sub-community as well as both the Baca and the town community.
Right.
And I would just add in that in the last iteration, there was a movement to create a special district within this process and trying to do that in one swoop instead of just a town charter negotiation. I'm not opposed to that idea. However, I think one less factor will expedite the process. And then depending on how what we come up with collectively as a fair transaction, from there, then we could say, okay, perhaps 5 acres from each entity or one entity over the other creates a district from their land holdings.
Right.
So my preference is let's keep this between us, either it's annexed by the town or keep it between us, it's annexed by the county. And we do a straight real estate transaction that we all deem to be fair, but it will require a subdivision of that 24 acres because the charter school is not going to give the whole thing up.
Right.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. If I might just ask a question and maybe I got this right. Okay, this property adjacent that the town owns, tract 1 adjacent to the charter school. Does the charter school, speaking, well, when you're writing there, does that truly have value to the charter school?
Track 1.
Yeah, tract 1.
Well, one thing is that's not included in this map is the new road trail that's gone through, that there's an easement for. And when Thomas and I met right before the groundbreaking, he said, well, that now it's formed, there's like a natural border.
It's the path that goes
Right.
right through there.
And if the charter school decides to keep whatever land they decide to keep in that 25 acres, they can always branch it off, that
Right.
into that direction that they needed to go. What I see is that having Alder connect, like it just dead ends right
Through
at that,
line.
at Lime Street, just dead ends there onto charter school property. And it just makes sense to start looking at, another way out of town if,
This is all.
I think that's a real important thing is that,
Yes, and line goes up.
is that we consider something that either blends in with the kiosk project somehow, and that's a whole another conversation. Or blends in with the Baca, which is a whole another conversation.
For sure.
So, I mean, I think when Adam and that crew was trying to do the project, they really wanted some kind of, road that connected Alder, went down and connected into the kiosk. And it kind of flowed into a nice, roundabout. Now, I know that on your plans, that's not showing that. I mean, there's no separate road coming in from that direction. So I've seen the designs, they're really nice for the kiosk. I mean, it's a beautiful concept that isn't as congested over there and it opens everything up.
And you've probably seen, Bert Wadman's
Yeah.
design for the community.
That's
center.
Community center.
Part of that track 1.
There was a bunch of money.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, that one on track 1,
Yeah.
$120,000.
That didn't happen.
So one thing that occurred to me, and I think that I'm glad Thomas is here because my understanding from previous discussions was that there was some kind of a swap done. that the charter school would kind of like to have a contiguous property that would connect all the way up and down.
So contiguous, yes, specifics are to be determined. We would benefit from more Lime Avenue frontage. And, you know, the southern half is of less value. It's a view corridor and it's farther from the school and utilities. Now, if there was another road that was a separate way into town that also had some sewer under it, then that's more valuable for all of us to have that utility access.
Well, the sewers may eventually go down this road, right? I mean, it's already gone to Living Wisdom and the county was gonna bring it to here.
But it's a slope that goes that
It's
way.
downhill.
Yeah,
Sure.
And
Which-
goes
But
downhill.
what we're talking about was a possibility of running it, this road, you know, continuing down that far edge. I mean, as of right now, the town has that road easement per se built in, and it would be very disturbing to the charter school if we decided to put a road in that cut in any direction, through the middle of this, like that. So in the swap, there's obviously some kind of trade, like you guys get that easement. And then we would maybe replace it with another easement of some sort. That's would be my thought. So it would be like this road here, which is not including this one that's already in. This actually went in.
That's already in.
That's already in. Cause yeah, this is the property that the county was looking at. So this road here, we were talking about, you could have utilities running on that, so you'd come off of the, I call it, you know, South Hemlock. Run it down the edge and then run it all the way down this way, but it's not very, you know, it's kind of weird to have a road running right along the property line.
And there is a trail there too.
Yes, there is.
There's a trail.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
starts at the kiosk and it winds through POA back over into charter and then connects into the safe routes to schools trail.
Right. So Alder makes a lot of sense. I mean, unless Alder continuing and then coming down somehow
to the T road,
to the kiosk.
to the kiosk. I'd say the T road.
But again, they're gonna have to change your designs.
Why do you want a road through there?
Well, first of all, we don't have any secondary way out of town. That's one thing. So with all of the development happening up on this here, as well as the charter school, and any kind of development, if these guys are gonna keep pursuing the community center, if we decide that the library needs to go there, there's gotta be some, you know, some access. Yeah, and to have it come in from Alder and then just dead end or circle. That's an option, but it definitely doesn't seem like it's necessarily, I don't know, it could be part of a phase. You know, like where you have it continue in, or there's gotta be some access into this property eventually.
And not Lime Avenue, because
I mean, another option is where the road, where you guys put in the, safe routes to school trail, having a road below that.
that doesn't sound safe.
Is this the safe route to school?
No, it's not on there, but it's running right along there.
So where does, the road that Tom designed for the kiosk, where is that?
It's right. The kiosk is right. Yeah. Sorry, now I just got it
This
wrong.
is north here.
Right here, the kids.
Yeah, here. So it's like right in this general area here, and then you guys are saying,
There's this, that's the kiosk.
So,
Yes.
so a road coming in from Alder
What
would
is
go
your
all the way
proposed
across
Alder
there.
base? Base in there.
Situation here where
I mean,
this is to me.
I don't think anybody knows,
Uh-huh.
you know, this is all kind of like still in total conception because,
Yeah.
I mean,
And then have a.
you know, the other whole big concern I know for the charter school was that dump area.
Yeah.
And there's two things to that. One is the dump does kind of continue onto the 25 acres below. A little bit. Now, I don't know how much of it, but there's some old cars there and stuff like that. I keep going out there when I take that trail and I keep looking at it and I keep thinking,
So that's.
God, that would be a big sled.
This in there.
If you, cause where I grew up, there was a place called Mount Trashmore, and there was an old dump, and it was probably like, I don't know, maybe like 200 feet high. And we used to sled it, hike it, we sled it.
We had one of those queens,
Yeah.
it was like a dump hill.
Yeah, dump
sled it too, yeah.
And so I keep looking at that spot where no trees are growing and it's just kind of this. Like, wow, that would make a really cool little sled hill, and then you could access it from the trail. If we get enough snow.
Because there's a road right through here.
On Trashman.
I'm sure. Well,
No, no, this one was in Evans, like in Evanston.
We had one too.
You had a Mount Trashman?
We used to call it the dump hill. Yeah, they just get hot.
Anyway, I
I
just,
think we could probably add alternative access to our collective intentions in terms of benefits of a potential land swap. Because the charter school as well would find value in that.
Tom?
Yeah.
Do you have any information on that dump area as to whether it's a toxic area or any assessment has been made?
They did an assessment right where the trail goes through,
Right,
but
That's
they
it.
didn't assess the entire area.
well, that area, that dump area kind of crosses the trail, so I was wondering about it. They would have to do that if it was gonna be a trail for children to walk, wouldn't they have
They did.
already done it?
They absolutely did.
And there was no,
it didn't come back as being,
it
We
didn't,
didn't find anything major toxic, anything that I know. He was-
So I just reviewed the information. There was an asbestos survey that came up negative or less than 0.1, whatever the unit is on that. They did a geotechnical survey in 5 predetermined sites that were more along the trail than specific to the dump site. They were on the downhill edge. One pit was on the downhill edge. And the most thorough information that I thought pertained was the archaeological evaluation for historical site information, and they checked the whole area there and determined that, you know, the train line spur from Moffett went through there in the 1880s until Independence Mine shut down around 1910. Then they pulled it up before 1915, and it seems like it was after that it became a town dump. Sometimes tilled in, other times incinerated on site, and it seems to have completed usage by 1970. And so in terms of asbestos tiles and plastics, there's not much plastics in there. So some of the chemical leaching that comes from more modern refuse is not present there. It's mostly glass and tin cans. And I have those 3 studies on hand.
Nice.
Good.
However, they did not bore into the dump itself. It was all on the downhill edge. There are some individual dump sites below the trail, but the area that was used as a landfill is all above the trail. And there was
it's pretty clear too, because nothing really
Right.
grows there, and it looks pretty, you know, nothing can grow there, I don't think, or things aren't,
yeah,
trees aren't growing there, I'd say. But it is a kind of a cool area, I mean, it does have like a. I could see it being something like a sled hill or something like that. I mean, it would make a really nice spot for that, but and that's like somewhere in here.
correct, the diagonals across that back corner of track 1.
well,
Okay.
does the school still feel the way they did last time about it, that it was not something they wanted to trade?
My board is highly concerned about taking on liability of a dump site. However, not, it can be negotiated. either, but their preference is with investigation, it
With
can be
more study.
negotiated as opposed to negotiated as an unknown.
So more,
And I know that that's a funding, there's a funding concern for that.
yeah. So more study on that spot.
Well, and Jenny, you brought up, if I may say, is about the Brownfields Act,
Yeah, the Brownfields Act.
which is a federal program, who knows where all that stuff is these days, but that was set up through the EPA for towns and municipalities that can't afford to clean up smaller, not necessarily toxic, but we'd have to learn more. What was it, 27 pages of it?
Yeah, 24 pages.
And I got through part of it, but that is a possibility, which might be involved if there's negotiation about how to fund it to get that cleaned.
It'd be like a federal grant to clean it up?
It was through the EPA.
So the county's pursuing that, as is the POA right now.
Oh.
For that position,
Not
that
for that
particular,
spot.
not for that spot, okay.
White Eagle Village and
All right,
the old golf,
oh, the golf course,
pro shop.
right,
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
That had a lot of mold in it too, right?
Right.
Asbestos.
Asbestos.
Black mold.
And this is on the property that the town owns, this
The-
dump.
The dump is, yeah, and a little bit of it kind of crosses the trail and then goes down below. You can kind of see some remnants, but not,
Yeah.
the majority of it is on the town.
Would the town be willing to pursue this Brownfield Act grant?
Well, I mean, the town's not like, I don't think the town is going to necessarily want to develop anything right away anyways. Until especially we get this all worked out as far as
Yeah, what the agreement
what
is.
the agreement is. I mean, it could be part of a trade agreement, you know, that we would try to pursue it. I can't commit the town to anything like that right now, and I do feel like, you know, the town would probably have maybe an easier time getting a grant like that. Well, who knows what's even happening with grants? We're struggling with the grants we already have just to be able to get reimbursed. You know, so I think everybody's dealing with grants right now, and so I don't think it should be necessarily off the table, but I think it should be something that we, you know, we understand that it's there, we just don't. I think the biggest thing is really the annexation and whether your board wants to annex into town, because that's really kind of the only way that we can really move forward with any kind of discussion about it. So it's in the county property, at least for the next 6 months. It's just gonna be like, you know, even the piece of land that you guys want down below, are you gonna subdivide that off?
We haven't gotten that far, but I'm assuming that, yes, we would have to do that. Yeah.
Right.
Not just a lot line adjustment.
Well, maybe it would be just a lot line adjustment, since the county owns contiguous property there, it's possible we could just do a lot line adjustment.
So even if the charter school annexes that land to town, you're under no obligation to go any further after that, so. Cause charter school's in town anyway, right? So. Yeah, so that seems like a good step, regardless of whether we do a swap or not.
I'm open to that idea, I can propose that to my board and look at what the advantages and disadvantages of being either in town or not in town on that parcel. You know, at this point it's undeveloped and as a public institution, we wouldn't pay taxes on it anyway,
Yeah.
so
Right.
I don't think there's a lot of liability, but I would need the lawyers to
Right.
confirm.
I think at the last meeting, that was the next step, was kind of got reversed here, but that was like the next step was annexation agreement with town and.
I mean, the lawyers are the ones that write the agreement, look at the agreement, see what, you know, I mean, there could be stuff, it could be almost anything written in there, it could say. That we're not wanting to subdivide it until we really decide how it's gonna be negotiated, and then we could definitely, you know. Personally, I think it should be part of town, because it's. I mean, basically you have all the way from here working its way down. Except for this piece right here, I mean, it's basically moving all the way to the kiosk and. I feel like. It should be part of town, I mean, it should be zoned in town as is, you know, and it should be.
What's
Especially,
the option? What's the other option? If it's not annexed into town.
just stays county,
Stays in
And then
town,
the county subdivides
and then the county
Right.
subdivides it.
or what,
So,
just for different purposes.
The only property the county would have anything to do with would be any property that the charter school decided to deed to the county to build this kiosk. Otherwise, I mean, it's just in the jurisdiction of the county, just like it would be in the jurisdiction of the town. Even if it was in the jurisdiction of town, it wouldn't obligate any ownership to do anything with their property. It would just.
No. I guess what it does though is. First of all, it keeps them from having to go to the county and ask for permission on how they wanna, you know, subdivide it. But also, what was the other thing, does. Let's see, oh yeah, the zoning, how is the county zone, like, is this land all automatically under agriculture, or what is it zone, like, what is
I thought it
the?
was recreation.
I know that the county doesn't really have a zone, it's not
So,
recreational.
there is some zoning that, may go past the kiosk east as far as a view corridor
Mhm.
that was put into place a while back, on Road T. And I think it may extend that view corridor onto charter school and POA land a certain distance past east of the kiosk. Other than that, all land in Saguache County is zoned agricultural. Now, if it's in the POA, then it's zoned differently. That's my understanding, right?
But, yeah, I don't get that because the idea that, what was her name?
Gayatri,
Gayatri, yeah, wanted to only have it as an educational and a recreational area.
Well, that was a deed restriction that she put on, but that doesn't necessarily mean that
Doesn't
the
affect the
county,
county.
yeah,
Doesn't affect the county. So, but it would remain agricultural, an agricultural zone.
You know, unless the county decided to come up with some zoning, which we're kind of encouraging through our new master plan. To consider zoning the county, at least light zoning. Right now, there's just no guidance where industrial should go, or residential should go, or cell towers should go, or,
so back to the reason why it would be better in the town is because we can either create a new zone that's under recreational, I don't even know, I mean, we have zoning and we have civic zoning, we have, we don't have a recreational zone right now. But I think it's civic that you guys are in. Civic.
K or R, I can't remember, yeah, there's a letter designation that is.
It's not called civic, but.
Let me see it real quick.
I can look at it.
I got it. It's,
yeah, I might suggest that if
It's like
the
recreation.
town did annex that property, that part of that agreement might include a zoning agreement. So that the town just
right,
suddenly couldn't say, oh, we're gonna develop this as residential.
right.
You know,
No,
or whatever, you know.
it's community service and recreational, CSR. That's the district that is,
CSR.
CSR.
Which is preferred.
Tell you the truth, I think they added that when that land was annexed.
They,
That was a new
came up with a new designation.
designation. Well, all this is, that is zone CSR. Or sorry, no, all this is zone CSR.
These two?
Those two.
This is 20 acres.
Track one and the charter school
Mhm.
are both CSR.
CSR. Cause there's no other zone. So I mean, that would be the only, another thing is going from agricultural and what you can do in agricultural. under the county's jurisdiction and then what you can do under.
It'd be nice to have a farm with the school, the kids could.
There you go.
Work on the farm.
So I would propose, my guess is it will take at least 6 months for us to come up with some corners that we all agree upon. And so if we are I think we should be pursuing, starting to have those conversations about, hey, here's 3 plans from us, here's 3 plans from you, where's the overlap, what can give, what can take, what is value for value. Alongside the town annexation process, or pursuing the details while we wait for the county to lift the moratorium on subdivisions. But I don't think, on one hand, there's not urgency, on the other hand, there's advantage to moving forward that it would benefit all of us. And so I would say, regardless of whether we wait for county or work towards annexation within the town, that we also create, that I ask my board to further invest in a land swap committee. Currently, it's the 2 of us, and neither of us have a lot of time, and I don't know about you guys. But to, you know, start having these conversations and put some pictures on the table and
I think, I mean, it's from the town's point of view, we're kind of coming back to a more basic governance that's not so much expansionary, it's like contraction, I would say. I mean, just because we're dealing from the past like 3 or 4 years with a lot of
Mess.
mess, but also like where you kind of expand past what, that now you're not even dealing that well with the basics anymore, and then you're trying to do stuff like whatever it is, even that big plan for this track 1 that was $120,000 or whatever, just for the plan, you know, that's, to me, very expansionary, and it was beyond what we could handle. So we're trying to think about what's our core of what it is to be a governance in a small town, and so a lot of it is like town hall stuff, getting our noticing properly, maybe even looking at like a new town hall that works better for us or something like that. But as far as like even the community center, that's like way beyond what the town wants to do. So we were thinking maybe we would think of a way to put land aside for that purpose, whether they have a district or they don't have a district, at least it's just sitting there waiting for that. And then you guys have, you know, you kind of have to grow into it, I would say. And then same with the library, it was like, it would be a great spot for the library, being right next to the school. I even think it would be a great spot for a skate park, somewhere in there. Because you have, like, especially with the school above and you guys looking down on it, you could have more, you know, monitoring of it as opposed to like it just being kind of a free for all.
yeah, if I could paraphrase what you just said, I think the idea of consolidated and contiguous land county holding or town holdings works for you guys as well. The charter school's in a slightly different position because we have had slow but steady growth with a recent uptick. Looking at enrollment for next year, while we don't need to expand classrooms, we would like to be in process, which of course is a 3 to 5 year process, to consider that an expansion of gymnasium that could double as a community space, a performance space, a maker space, entrepreneurial space that is charter school owned. If the town is not in a place to collaborate on that, the charter school may be in a place to move forward on that. And so in that sense, again, not urgency, but forward thinking.
Yeah. And the land that, you know, you guys have is wide towards the front, so you have a lot more room this way, and then we have like the narrow strip here. So then if you were to, you know, possibly develop back here, you might want more land going towards to the
A little more line frontage would be valuable for us.
line
for
frontage.
Lawn frontage,
But also maybe even hemlock frontage.
sure.
So the town just wants an even acreage, it's not too worried about where exactly it is compared to the charter school.
I mean, again, I don't think the board's really discussed this as a whole group in a while. It's always been like Dennis and now Sean, and I think the board, like, I think the town really does wanna connect. We own the land that's right here. It's 9 lots, including 3 more over here. So to have that contiguousness would be great. You know, where you have building something on both sides of the street. And then Alder Street really would be nice to figure out a way to continue that at least into this land. Whether it be a turnaround or actually running it into the Baca or into
Right,
the.
if it followed the Llama property and just dropped down along that property line, or some version of that. It's downhill for sewer, it's an extension
then
of
you can
Main
always-
Street, and yeah.
Do that, so
So now,
those are the things that I think the town is most interested in, and not developing anything necessarily, but also putting land like aside for other uses, like, I mean, I keep coming back to the town hall, this new town hall building being over there, because
wouldn't
it's
it be
kinda-
on this side?
it doesn't, I mean, I'm just saying, if we did it on this side, you know,
Yeah.
maybe there could be something on this side that.
If I can see where you're going with it.
Don't you have that?
So this is Lime right here, there's the charter school right there,
Right,
and we have this land here.
oh, you do, okay,
This is 6 lots, and then there's 3 more behind.
okay,
Across the
And then
line.
there's a street that's not developed in between, which
Okay.
is
Right.
Cedar.
Which had a potential of becoming part of the safe routes to schools.
That's the one behind on that's Cedar runs east-west, I think you're thinking of, oh, what's that?
When you said undeveloped road, I thought you were talking about.
Well, there's that too. The one where you guys put the stop sign in.
Yeah.
So, something you said, which was to put aside the community center.
Yeah,
design.
that's putting
So that
aside land that could be used as a community center, putting aside land that could be used as a library. Possibly putting aside land that could be used as a skate park.
Since, yeah.
I mean, I'm just thinking, like, I don't think the town's gonna pursue that in the next couple of years. Anything besides just getting something on
Right, but
paper.
if we were a group as a community center, we could approach you and say, this is what we would like to do. If you provide the land, we will develop it.
And we would say, how are you gonna access it? And then it would go right back to,
Well, yeah, are all the utilities there, can it handle that kind of, you know, traffic and water, sewer, all power, all that kind of stuff.
But it should be designed into. a
Yeah.
future plan, so
Right.
that if-
so I don't, all I'm saying is the reason why you don't wanna just like do a trade between the charter school and town. And just leave everybody else out. You wanna think in terms of like, how could you break off pieces of land? Maybe the charter school throws in, you know, an acre and a half, and then the town throws in an acre and a half, and that gets broken off into that particular piece of land, you know what I mean? So all I'm saying is that even though you guys don't have a district yet or anything that could raise funds or maintain funds or whatever, you would have a piece set aside for.
That's what we're looking for, to basically, it's a piece of land
Yeah.
with utilities. Then it would be up to us to figure out how to finance it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's really our first step.
Yeah, you,
Now, the other part of it is that we're kind of sharing here a little bit is, and we talked about this several weeks ago, is what does everybody want? You know, so we as a community center, we want certain things, or we're asking the community. We already heard stuff from, you know, Tom about what they're looking for a gym and they're looking for other stuff. You know, and they need to expand, not necessarily classrooms, but more outside space. Well, maybe is what gets combined. I don't know what the county's looking for, so.
Did the track one design have a gymnasium? The track one design.
I don't think so. The track one design have a gymnasium
It had a
Auditorium.
large space. in it.
auditorium.
Yeah. So 5 years ago, or 4.5 years ago, when I first got involved in this discussion, whole different cast of characters. But, My idea was to try to integrate some county services into the community center.
Yeah.
The library wanted to integrate into it. Another way, to potentially leverage funds would be to make it an emergency.
Yeah.
Base that people could use. Right now, it's the Moffett School, so that's a long ways away for an emergency.
Mhm.
And, you know, between the county and the emergency and potentially even the library district, those funds could be leveraged in such a way to use as match for larger grant opportunities.
Mhm.
And, so that was kind of what I was pushing for, was to try to work together and even town services, like you're saying, courthouse or whatever, town hall.
Town hall.
I really liked Bert's plans.
Yeah,
He had every single tree mapped out, so that you didn't have to disturb
Yeah.
anything, you know, and it was solar gain and,
Yeah.
that
it
part of
was
that be
just-
used, you know, with a study of,
it's possible, you know, that basic aspects of that same plan could be used, I think, just because of the lay of the land similar.
I asked him, he said it was very site specific.
Yeah, because he mapped every single tree out, but, you know, if you, you know, I don't think the terrain is.
It's not that much different.
In that area, but.
Now, the charter school could potentially use a lot of that, you know,
Yeah.
if we did do a swap. That would be, you know,
And they were talking amphitheater at the time and,
yeah, that's,
it's a really cool design. I mean, it was all like facing, you know, solar gain and had like underground, you know, like multi-levels and, I mean, it was very sophisticated.
Yeah, and it built in the emergency space underneath on the lower side of one of the spaces where people could gather. They're actually underground.
wow,
So that's a good way to get extra funding and be used as like emergency in case of storm or
So
natural.
if the
disaster
county
fire.
puts in some money and the library district puts in some money, emergency management puts in some state money, that could all be leveraged against federal funds
Mhm.
as match. And not that there are any federal funds anymore, but, things change.
Have
over
you
time.
had any applications for new districts while you've been a commissioner? No,
We're trying to get a fire district going in Margarita,
okay,
but it's not up to the county to create a district, it's up to the citizens to do that.
right,
Well,
So-
that's one concept, if I just may jump on, is that if we did a community center, we may ask, that one way to fund it anyways, is to ask for a special district to fund it.
No way.
Now,
You'd
I
have
don't
to-
know if we can make it fly, but if you look at,
Get a lot of signatures.
yeah, a lot of them, but if you look at all the mill levies, and we just paid the taxes, right? A couple weeks ago, there's a lot of them in there.
oh yeah,
So that would be a county vote?
No, you create, well,
you create
it'll be
boundaries.
part of the county. I can't see Saguache voting for a community center in Crestone, so you have to create a district.
District
Tell me if
boundaries.
I'm right on this,
Similar
but-
to the Baca Water and Sand District or the school district or
Right.
the ambulance district, fire district.
Right. They each have- they-
Districts that add up on your property tax bill.
Yeah,
And we're pretty heavily mill levied, right, already? I mean, is that kind of like,
Oh, yeah, we've got, the Baca Grande is one of the highest mill levy areas in the state.
oh. Wow. So that's why that is like, do people wanna pay another mill levy?
right. Well, then you have to figure out how else you're gonna fund it. And I haven't talked to the gal, Jeannie mentioned, there's a gal over in Del Norte who has a community center over there, and they've done it all with grants. How they maintain it, I don't know. We went to the Fort Garland one and we toured that, and that's all mill levy money, but that was started over 40 years ago. And now they have more money than they quite know what to do with, because they paid off all their bonds and they have. Architecturally, we may disagree on how beautiful a building is, but it's very functional.
very functional, and they have support with FEMA. That's where they're.
Yeah, that's right, they can also,
But
yeah.
their district include Blanca and Fort Garland, so they found a spot.
Yeah, but it's only a group of, what did Tomas say, between 12 and 1,400 people.
Wow.
That's all they're serving.
But they're big ranches.
Yeah, and that's, the ranchers are paying most of that, no levy.
I have a cabin up in San Cristo Ranches up there.
Yeah, and you pay a little bit for that.
Yeah, a little bit.
But you can go use the whole thing for $40 a year, that whole facility, which is. No,
Yeah, it's affordable.
So, I don't know, I think to move on, again, I think it kind of comes down to the charter school, because you guys have the majority of the property. You guys have to decide whether you wanna look at how, if, you know, what you wanna do with that land. Cause the town's not gonna do much with track one right away. I mean, we're just gonna sit on it for a while until something comes up. I mean,
So-
obviously, we did something with that trail, and that was just give the county an easement to do it. And it seems like the county, you know, that you guys did a great job, I think it came out really nice.
People are loving it.
It's
Oh, by
nice.
the way, I wanted to let you all know we're having a grand opening. 19th at 8:30. At the charter school.
Cool,
Anybody who wants to participate.
19th of May,
Mhm.
okay.
It's nice the kids could ride bikes and skateboards and roller skate on it, and you're not bothering people, no one's complaining in town, you know.
Is there a map of the trails?
You know, that's one of the things I want to put up at the new kiosk
Yeah.
is a trail map of the whole system that goes all the way to the refuge and.
Great. Is there any other discussion?
But then I think I just heard you suggest that the charter school move forward in the annexation process. And that would be just for our 24 acres, so not inclusive of coordinating with this Walmart property. And would you also be open to us putting forward some of our preferred land swap
Yeah.
corner markings? And justification for why we feel like those are fair.
Definitely.
I would. You can certainly just wait until you see what we put
Yeah.
forward, but I would request that you put forth your.
I've
You
been
guys can think
struggling
about
with
it, but
yeah, I think I've been struggling with it because. I mean, the ideal road, I think, would blend in somehow with the. Safe routes to school area, and they just finished that, and so I'm just thinking in terms of like, how do you, cause the grade is too steep. To blend a road in at that anywhere but where the. Safe routes to school is, I'm sure there's a way to do it, I mean, you'd have to really plan it out, but I've talked to Bert about it. And he said that, you know, you kind of go with the higher purpose, and then that would be debatable whether. You know, the trail is a higher purpose or a road is a higher purpose, and then somehow have to integrate that parking lot and everything into. A road, so that kind of created a stumbling block for me, is like, first of all, I don't know if the POA is ever gonna go for putting a road in across that green belt. So then, you know. The main thing I see is, again, just figuring out a way to access whatever we wanna do in there. So whether, and if it's gonna be town road or how that would be, I mean, it could be. That you guys just wanna develop it on your own and put in a road. That's private, you know, and then access, so I mean, it's kind of comes from you guys as far as what I can see, it has to sort of be like more your.
Well, I
vision.
think we can still play with it.
Yeah, if you want to, that's fine,
Yeah.
I just, I mean, like I said, the only thing I really see is some kind of continuation of. Of Alder Street, that's like my only, I mean, would you agree? You see other,
The other street as a street or combined with the path that we're talking about?
no, I'm saying combining,
Alder and-
somehow
I'm sorry,
creating.
confusing that with-
Continuation of Alder, whether it be.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a good, it would be a good, as he had said, you'd not only extend it, then you'd have extension of Main Street, on Main Street.
Extension of services.
And another, more importantly, another way.
Comment,
Yes.
Tom?
I
Sorry.
just have a question, and I don't know how these things work, but is it possible that you could annex just something like that?
I think it would have, again, it's up to the county, because you'd have to subdivide it first.
Well, not if you annex it. I don't know.
Because
Maybe
if
that's
it's-
the way it has
If
to
it's
work.
one continuous property, you would have to break it off and redraw the lines and then annex that particular section.
The annexation has to come before the subdivision, even if you're just hacking off one piece.
Or it could be a county subdivision and then an annexation of that. So in other words.
That would mean waiting 6 months.
Yeah,
Eyeballing it, it kind of looks like this is close to the same amount of ground as this, maybe.
Oh,
This is
yeah.
kind of the obvious thing where the red is an easement that connects. As a road right of way that connects down, not to the kiosk itself,
Right.
but rather to the road once it turns, because that kiosk intersection is already tricky. This
Oh, I
would,
see.
this would allow a T intersection at, north of where T Road comes into the kiosk.
Right.
Yeah.
And wouldn't require a major redesign of the kiosk area, a roundabout or some other version of that. Now, this is not quite acre for acre, but it does, if my board would be willing to take on the risk of the landfill in exchange for slightly less acreage to the town,
Mhm.
I think this could, that kind of basically devaluing that land to some degree, so the town would end up with a few less acres, but they would also end up without a landfill.
Well, also the road is still town too,
The
so.
road would be part of the, yes, but
And all the-
acre per acre, again, yeah, if the red is part of town
It's still less.
properties, it's still slightly less.
Huh.
But we would take.
Did you come up with that, Eden, or
No.
did you come up with that?
This
Oh,
is-
yeah, they have a computer program that,
That seems like a decent idea to me, I don't know about you guys.
Well, the only thing about that particular style of road would be that it goes around somebody's private property. And that might be a red flag for them. So, but then maybe there's a way to bring it along the top and then bring it down towards more like the middle or.
Charter school is not worried at this point. This whole back half of our current property of the track one where the dump is.
Over there.
Oh, I'm on the wrong side.
Over to the right.
Right, yeah, this is north-south. So yeah, the charter school is there, this is track one, and then this is coming down. And so this whole southern aspect is not in any near plans.
Right.
Right up against them, right up against Lime. With, where the trail does the serpentine, behind that could be a parking lot, behind that could be a gymnasium performance space. We don't need roadway to the back half, the back 40.
Now, the red road, would you wanna do little branches off that as well, or would it be pretty much?
This red is to the west of the, the blue section would be the town section.
No, I understand, but I'm saying on that lower section of the northern section of the lower property. That right there, no, going to the west a little more. Yeah. Would you wanna branch off?
branches off.
I mean, potentially there could be some parking, if there was a track or a soccer field, it's got a pitch to it, so it's not great for track or soccer. But, yeah, I mean, and it's also a view corridor, but a track, I think the way the view corridor language is, the first 100 yards can't have anything above 3 feet, and the next 100 yards can only have up to a one-story building kind of sort of thing. So that land in there is really ball fields, recreationized kinds of zoning, or stipulation, not zoning specifically. So yeah, a flat parking area in order to have that, or if the town develops, I'm sorry, if there is a land swap for an eventual kiosk development or a roundabout or whatever goes in there, that could be parking for ball fields, and there's already the new trail that is in there.
Cool.
So,
Okay.
I think it's a question of how much blue
Right,
is acceptable.
right.
And,
And then also, again, thinking about if you wanted to to have some kind of shared donation to another entity. Or, so then,
Yeah,
Right, so the, you know, this yellow line here, by the way, is the safe route to the school trail, so that delineates a fairly natural, separation there. And it would be nice to not put a road right up against it.
No.
But what makes it nice, so a little bit of
Yeah.
separation on the red road from the yellow trail, I
Yeah,
think makes some sense.
is that,
And, you know, if there were a donation for, a recreation center that is a community based or a special district or something like that. Yeah, would the town give up the back half and the charter school could give up some of that? To be seen, to be determined.
mhm.
I mean, there are dietary, limitations as well on that.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, I wouldn't want the road right next to the safe routes to school, because it kind of makes it like not a safe route to school.
Well, just aesthetically, I mean, it's really nice.
Right, exactly.
yeah, it's nice to have trees on both sides and have it real.
You know, like 30 feet off, maybe, or 40 feet off, like, on the other side of some trees, you know, maybe.
Right, but 30 feet off, that's right down the blue or right down the green and, kind of changes the.
But if you extended Alder, it would just go right down the boundary line next to
Yeah, that's the red
the.
showing here.
That seems to make more sense to me.
Well,
So I can
Yeah.
propose
Yeah.
something like this or a few variations,
Mhm.
and,
yeah, and then,
speak with my lawyers, the lawyers in real estate about, the advantages, disadvantages of annexation by the.
right,
How long do you think that would take? Like
next month,
next month?
Now, of course, I am the director of the school and I work with my board very closely, and so I would be proposing to them, there's a meeting on the 14th, so I can submit these versions of this.
Mhm.
I would love to delegate the process of, to any volunteer in terms of annexation of said properties, because
the other thing.
I am not focused on real
What
estate.
was it if the county would, you know, if they do lift their moratorium or they give an exception for like
What did you
for a
tell?
district or the charter school to cut that piece off, then you could leave the rest of that as county. You know,
So, it's gonna take you guys a while to
right,
come up with a specific proposal to take to the planning commission for a subdivision. My thinking is we'll be really close to lifting the moratorium by the time you get your ducks in a row.
but they might not have to do that if they went directly with an annexation agreement.
but even that would take some time.
It will take some time.
Yeah.
So, either one, I mean, it's just kind of like,
See,
Chicken before-
if you were only to annex into the town. The blue. That annexing it into town is not a subdivision, that does not divide the land.
Mhm.
So the county would not have to.
how is it not a subdivision? Cause
Because it's not dividing the land, it's just the jurisdiction.
Yeah.
no, but it is
But
divided.
you, the swamp is dividing the land.
Sure. And that would still maybe but if you annexed it, then you'd have jurisdiction over it and you wouldn't have to get the county's approval, I guess is what I'm saying.
Right.
Then who would approve the annexation?
So
Then
that would
the county
be
has
the
to
town.
participate in
I
the.
don't know that the county may have to approve an annexation, but as long as the town and the landowners are all in agreement, there's no reason for the county to. Now, when Moffett did a flagpole in his annexation to put 400 acres into 420, the county objected to that. Because, it wasn't contiguous to the.
Right, do you guys know what a flagpole annexation is? It's where you, yeah, you run small pieces of land out like a flagpole and then you open it out to a big piece and,
Yeah, they were
It has to
trying
have-
to use a county road to do that, and
oh,
we lost.
oh, you lost.
We lost. So, anyways.
We can try anything.
I'm just saying that since it's not a subdivision, all you're doing is moving jurisdiction. The planning commission shouldn't even have to review that necessarily.
It would have to be surveyed and defined.
It would have to be surveyed.
But then we need the corners as the cart
Right.
instead of the
annexation.
And then the road, is it, and then the road would have to be looked at too, whether that becomes.
You had to provide an easement for that red section there.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, you annex the blue, but you'd still have to work out the easement for the red going back down to, T at the T road.
right,
After the turn.
But that would be a whole separate deal.
and the red is 60 feet? Is it?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I think you're gonna, my opinion is you're gonna need to overlay everything from the roads, parking areas and what you might have to build or want to build. And where the utilities are gonna go.
I'm just looking at a land swap.
That's what this meeting is for.
I mean,
Eventually,
yeah, eventually, absolutely, and is there water, is there, right,
there
but,
is
but
water,
that's master planning, it comes.
Yeah,
I understand that this is, we can try and bite the whole apple.
well, it's hard to plan for a property that you might swap.
yeah. Yeah, that is.
So I mean, we really do need to get the very basics down, get it into the, jurisdictionary boundaries and find the corner pins and get
So-
it deeded, basically.
I'll ask Wendy about annexations tomorrow.
That'd be good.
I'll ask Wendy about annexations tomorrow, what the county has to do with that. And whether the planning commission has to review it. Cause if they do, you'll need at least 60 days. But-
I mean, the
And a
other,
plan.
And a plan.
the other
So
thing is,
working on the plan is not too soon, I don't think.
So 60
our
days.
water system isn't gonna be able to handle much more, new customers. We're kind of hitting a capacity. So that is something that, we're thinking about as far as like up above the charter school, up above, maybe even, the Living Wisdom Project. If they wanted to look at selling or donating like a piece of land for a water system, that would help a lot for the town because we're gonna expand it all. I mean, we're pretty much hitting our limit, and that was one of the issues with the county that we hit, was not only the wastewater, but also the water. Putting in that many units, on top of the Living Wisdom. So there's gotta be some kind of thought process happening there as well. How are we gonna have more water on that side of town? My opinion, I mean, Jim McAlpin actually don't offer to donate a piece of land above for another tank. His land is, pretty ideal actually, because it has a property line, you could just run an easement down it with pipes that could go right into the southern, but he kind of, when this whole water billing thing came up, he was like, well, I'm not gonna do anything until you guys get that worked out. So anyway, that's just something that we're keeping in mind that would be a huge improvement to that south end of town. Cause this, then we could separate into two different circuits. Have water more, this tank be dedicated to the north end of town and then another tank dedicated to the southern end of town.
Operated about the same well.
We probably have to do another well, or,
My understanding is that the soils are really tight on that end of town.
But we've got options with wells that are just being exercised and they're
Right.
not really being, they feed our system occasionally, but. If we had another storage tank, that'd be key to that success.
yeah, and I think there might be some existing wells that are already. In that could be utilized for the town to use it. Should be pretty good.
Well, anyway,
Yeah.
I'll talk to Wendy and, guess he'll talk to your board.
You're right, I think the main stumbling block is this is a pretty picture. And it means the charter school, so I don't know if you can see from back there, but this diagonal is that old landfill site. And that may be a hard no of without assurances of low risk.
Thomas, what's the acreage on that blue rectangle?
Uh,
Was it 5?
5 plus 2, 7.
With the road, you mean 5? the road being the two.
So,
So that's 3 acres difference, right? Cause isn't tract 1 9 acres and then it has the road?
Current holdings, according to this, is 8.3.
Okay. For the natural tract,
For the blue here, now that doesn't include the yellow.
right?
So this is current plan holdings, and that blue is 8.3.
Okay.
So if you want this blue to also be 8.3, that also, you know, again, acre for acre, we wanna know that that landfill is a non-issue.
can you print that up and send it?
Okay.
All right,
That looks good, I mean,
Not an issue
I,
for your board or not an issue for. Parking fees.
Acre for acre from what I understand, my board's position is acre for acre means good acre for good acre. And so if it's unknown acre or contaminated acre, then it's not acre for acre. Right, it's devalued or unknown value. And so it can risk. You know, it's, I don't think it's necessarily the, like when you buy a house. The buyer gets the inspection and then the seller mitigates issues. Where do we, you know, how close of an analogy is that here? Not that close, because there's no money being exchanged, there is no buyer and seller, however, there is a current owner of that. Old landfill and for the charter school to become a new owner of it. How much of a risk?
well,
Is my
that
board
has yet to
going to
be
be?
determined whether it's a real risk or not.
Right,
If it's not a risk, then.
but it's on, but he's saying then it's on the town to.
And it's an unknown.
It's unknown so far, yeah.
that's a little overstated, but yeah, it's a question mark.
Yeah, and that's-
Speaking of Jim McCulpin, he has in the past done geotechnical surveying and he did offer to give a discounted rate for that, but it's still, as I recall, in the 10 to 12,000, depending on how extensive we would want that to be.
Mhm.
Yeah, we might also be able to talk to the town engineers and see if they, you know, they might have some kind of analysis, you know, they're pretty good, they do a lot of work, and they're probably the most professional service we have in town.
But kind of just leaving it intact and devaluing it and not including that in the trades makes some sense, because if you have to spend a bunch of money, then you find out that, oh, there's an issue. Oh, now we gotta clean it up and,
Right, so is there some version that retains a blue island back here, and I don't know if that's a flagpole or not, but is there a blue retention and then a slightly smaller or an equal
Yeah.
size total?
Water purification. That's the purification.
boy, that helps.
So I can play with the
Yeah.
graphic here and try and propose.
Yeah, I mean, I like the proposal, I don't, you know, obviously. It's all conceptual until something starts to,
That's
you know,
what you want, okay.
yeah, I mean, at least bring it to your board.
Any other questions?
I just,
Just like-
I brought this up, but,
Like, gavel.
if we can figure out, and even, you know, we talked about, is find out what it is and tell us what you want to expand to the charter school. You don't need classrooms, but like a gym, whatever else it is, what we're looking at for a community center, what is the town looking for? What is the county looking for? And put those together and see what
Where they
overlaps.
match,
Agreed.
where they overlap.
So, I'm willing to be the point on that, is to talk to people and put those together, and put some kind of presentation together, say, well, this is what everybody wants here. Here's are the overlaps, and then let's talk about the rest.
I can just say, sitting here, I know the library does not wanna do that.
No? Okay,
If the library's involved at all, they wanna, be autonomous, be the library.
okay,
You know, have a community center area like we do now, but larger, but not really overlapping on community center and all that.
They were actually the closest to starting to dig, I mean, they were like, if they had land, they would have literally started a library, they had the money, they had everything lined out, we just.
So
didn't work out the library.
Oh,
They were,
Okay, so
they were,
this is one include the library. But
That-
you're still
No,
on the
they-
board for the charter school, right? So we wanna know what the charter school wants.
Yeah. Well,
Look at you.
You got your hands into a lot of things. Ethan.
one other thing is that I don't think that governmental necessarily goes really well with like recreational. Personally, I think that there should be like, if we were gonna build a new town hall, I could say, I could easily see county being part of that, where you have like almost like a separate building that, you know, has county function on it, but I'm not 100%. I just don't. I mean, like where I'm from in Evanston, they have a really beautiful, they actually combined the library with the recreational. That was kind of funny. They put 2 ice skating rinks and then the library's mixed in there.
but they're pretty big.
It's big. It's a
Yeah,
big-
Fort Garland
big
was the same
city.
way, libraries in there, rec center,
Um,
rec center.
did you wanna do town hall area here?
Well, that was what, we've been thinking that for
Yeah.
a while. There's a lot of trees on that property, you know, it needs to be really looked at. The other thing is we're struggling with, our public works building is very small and kind of, you know. That used to be the
That's
town
far-
hall, that used to be the town hall.
So that's.
The county just got recently kicked out of mercantile space, so
Oh, really?
you don't have a space for family services if you need the money.
Like a county office built onto the town hall in the future could work out.
Well, if we get this front space, we might have a temporary, county off.
I think it's reasonable to think that the county and the town, government wise and public works wise as well. Could work, it should work
As
together,
long as we have our own, you know, like, function,
you can use your tools.
but anyway, that's to be determined.
So I will come up with a few drafts, present that to my board on the 14th,
Great,
and I still didn't hear any volunteers to talk about annexation, look into annexation. You had asked Wendy,
Yeah.
that's a great start.
Well, I'm gonna talk
Then
about
you want me
the
to talk to them?
requirements that the county.
yeah, we did, we have, Sarah actually did a full report on annexation, do you have that?
Could you forward that to me? I mean, I think it would be, we would initiate with the town board to do the annexation.
Yeah, it's an agreement.
Either the whole 24 or a portion of,
Right,
and the portion of maybe enough to get a subdivision through.
right. We have some examples of annexation. Two major examples. One is the land that you have was annexed. Not that, I mean, within the last 20 years.
Mhm.
And then the Hume property that's up in the far, north, east corner of town was annexed, and that was just an agreement. They had to have new surveys. They had, cut off that piece specifically for the water.
Mhm.
That was bought by the town, I think it's a half acre. So there's definitely examples. I don't think it's as hard as maybe it's something the lawyers know how to draw up.
You and I don't need to.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Can you send me an email?
thank you so much, Thomas.
Thanks, Thomas.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I think that every email you-
Okay, well, can I get yours on the website?
Yeah, if you send me one, then.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye, yeah.
See y'all.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks for coming.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you, guys. So we're gonna,
Little Joy?
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Second,
Okay, is everybody in favor, say aye?
I,
Aye.
right.
We have adjourned.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
All right.
When will you be?
Hopefully it'll rain snow a lot more.
I'll
bring some more pots.
10 o'clock.
7 o'clock?
Yeah.
I'll probably get there around
11?
yeah, between 10:30 and 11.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Thank
good,
you.
okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, this is so
Just
interesting.
keeps coming back to charter school, I think. They're there.
I felt like it was,
No fist fights.
right, I mean, if people, I think, just have the desire to have
I mean, we can't
something
really,
new.
we can't do anything with track one. It's just
Oh, yeah.
kind of a-
Yeah, yeah,
you know, it's unfortunate, but
Is it steeper?
it's,
so, no.
okay. Yeah, guys.
Okay,
All right.
see ya.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thanks.
Keep the hope alive.